Welcome, everyone. We are live today. We are live on this most glorious, what are we? Wednesday. It is Wednesday, y'all. Already? Yes, it is. Says so in the corner of my iPad. Wednesday. I dreamt a lot. Hmm. Intriguing indeed. I kind of remember, but I don't, but I kind of. It'll come back to me in fragments, but it'll come back. I trust that you slept well and that you rose this morning and you had a new feeling about you, a new attitude about you. Now, this question is very popular, and I think I've answered it before, but you know what? We're going to talk about it again. Can you turn off your mind? You see, I think we get brain and mind confused, but here's something to help you out. We're physical, right? Yeah, I can pinch myself. Ow, yeah, we're physical. The brain is physical. But what's the invisible part of the brain? The thing that you can't see. Yeah, but Angela, I can't see my brain at all. You might not be able to see your brain, but you know it's there and you know it's working. Hmm? Clearly, you know it's working. But the short answer is no. You cannot turn off your brain or your mind, but you can focus it. Think about what they tell you about people in comas. Talk to them because they can hear you. Because the brain, can you imagine? What do you do with someone when their brain stops? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. Hmm. We usually say, oh, let's pull the plug, don't we? Isn't that the first thing we say? Well, their brain isn't working, so then they're not alive. So that's the answer to your question. The brain, if it stops, there's a problem. So it can't stop. But the deeper reason why it cannot stop is because the mind. But what is the mind? Your awareness of your existence. Even if you are in a coma, they tell you, they say if you measure the brain activity and you talk to them, they can hear you. So they are aware still. Their awareness, your awareness cannot stop. Your awareness cannot leave you. That is what mind is. The awareness of your own self. So if you're, but this is what makes you eternal. The awareness of your existence is what makes you, because you can't stop knowing that you are, whether you are physical or non-physical. Why can I say non-physical and not call it speculation? Because in the physical, we're always aware that we are. Right now, you're aware that whatever you're doing, you're here and you're listening to me yakety yak. You're aware of that. Even if I am way back in the recesses of your mind and you can still hear me, you are aware. You cannot stop being aware of your existence. So, you can't turn off your brain. So when you're learning to meditate, it's like ants at a picnic, eh? Ants at a picnic. You you're laying there, you're sitting there, and when you're laying there and sitting there, you say, well, I just want to have good thoughts. I just want to do this and blah, blah, blah. Then the next thing you know, what am I going to cook for dinner? What am I going to wear? What am I going to do? Are the kids okay? What's that dog barking? All of these thoughts are there. What do you do with the barrage of thoughts? You single one of them out. Just one. You single one of them out and you focus on that thought. Period. And what happens when you start focusing on that one thought? Well, if it's the dog that's barking, right? What happens? Sooner rather than later, or sooner or later, the barking starts to fade. You can hear it. It hasn't stopped, but it's fading. Not because the dog is saying, "Ooh, let me quiet down." And he goes, "Bark, bark, 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 bark." And he goes, "No, I'll whisper bark. I'll use my indoor bark." That's not what he does. So what's happening? You are aware of him and you know he's there. And so you say, "Oh, I know it's there." And because you know it is there, you don't fixate on it. You just know that it is there. And he fades into the distance. But if he's fading into the distance, what is coming closer to you? You are. Not that you moved. You didn't move. You've always been right there. You didn't move, right? So that thought that you hold on to as you are practicing meditating. Listen, what kind of thoughts do you hold on to? Well, that's up to you. That is up to you. Neville Goddard suggested I am. Just just focus on I am. But you see where we get caught up? We want to focus on the words I am. So you think if you say I am, 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 I am all the time, over and over and over again, you could start that way, but something happens and you'll notice it. You'll notice it. You'll notice that the words I am start to drift into the distance. But then what's there? Well, I am. That's what's there. So meditation, because that's where this question always arises from. Well, how are you supposed to turn off your mind? See, if you go to work, right, and you're doing billing or you're doing something, you realize for me, the phone ringing brings me right back to wherever I'm at because it needs to be answered. So if I'm doing billing and I'm focused on numbers and percentages, I'm focused on that. But then I hear the phone and I am broken from my reverie, which is my focus on numbers, and I'm brought back to the phone. The phone hasn't left my consciousness. It has not left my awareness. I know the phone is there. And so I tell myself, when it rings, answer it. So that when it rings and I am somewhere else in my mind, whether like I said, scheduling or doing accounting, I've already given myself a cue. I've told myself what to do when the phone rings to pull me out of my reverie. So I don't turn the mind off so that I can focus on billing or focus on scheduling. I don't turn my mind off. I focus it. You see, that's where the power is. Because knowing that you can't turn it off, if you turn off the brain, you die. Because it shuts down all the body's processes. But it's the thing that's giving all the signals to say, this is your heart's rhythm, this is your liver's rhythm, this is your kidney's rhythm. Okay, but if those messages aren't getting through, things begin to fail. Or if the organs have been damaged, they begin to fail. And then the message doesn't get through to the organ from the brain. Then what? So you can't turn off the brain from its function. Neither can you turn the mind off of knowing itself. So you give it something to focus upon. But allegedly, our attention spans have been deteriorated so much. Or we think we are superhuman because we can juggle many balls and multitask. The brain functions best if you give it one thing at a time. One thing at a time. And when you finish one task, you go on to the other, or else you end up with many unfinished tasks. Pay attention and you'll see it. So the long and short answer is, we don't turn the brain off. We don't turn the mind off. Your mind is your awareness of yourself. But God, it's just that we have so many words. I say the word believe And you automatically think doubt, But believing is just you know something to be true. A-N-D, and. You don't believe A-N-D is and. You know A-N-D is and. Right? So we don't turn the brain or the mind off. Sometimes it seems like you do, like if you're driving the same route every day, it seems like you just drove there on autopilot. Well, that's exactly what you did. But do you think, did you think the mind was off to do it? It has to be on. So look around you and you will see the evidence that the brain is always on because it is powered by consciousness, which is mind. And you can't disconnect consciousness. You can't. Even when our bodies expire, our awareness does not end. I'm not hoping or speculating that that is true. The principles tell me, as above, so below. As within, so without. I know that I exist. And I know that I presently exist here on earth. So if I exist here on earth, who knows that I exist on earth? Consciousness, my awareness does. So whether I am on earth or elsewhere, I will know where I am. Because you can't not know. You are immortal that way. That's what immortality means, that you are always aware of your existence. It doesn't mean living forever in your body. That's not immortality. It isn't. So because we sometimes struggle with that, and believe me, I did too in the beginning, I'm like, but I just want to sit here and think of nothing. But if I sit here, oh, I'll be thinking of something. Because you can't turn it off. If you turn it off, how are you going to breathe? I mean, just asking for a friend. So you see, your physical form tells you that you can't turn off your brain without severe consequence. And that's just the brain. So the next time you want to practice meditation, recognize what it is. Just simply, you put your brain in a particular area where your heartbeat, sure, your breathing, you put it somewhere, give it something to do. Or what happens? It kind of pulls an Angela, it just rambles. That's what it will do, right? So you see, it's not that you have to be told that. It's that you know it, but you don't know it. And there's a lot of things that we know that we don't know. Because we look for somebody to tell us what to do when the answer is there for you to simply observe. Not just observe. If you didn't have eyes, you would still observe. If you didn't have ears, you would still observe. If you couldn't speak, you would still be able to observe. We are always in a position to observe. So that's what they tell you, if you lose your vision, your sense of hearing increases, right? Because you have to, it takes up the space now and it says, oh, eyes are gone, let's make ears better. So you see what you're doing at every turn. So all you need to do is observe what is happening. You use the principle of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. What do you want to know? If you ask the question, well, can I turn off my brain? Can I turn off my thoughts? You can't turn off the thoughts. The brain is meant to think. That's what it does. But what do you want it to think about? That's where your power is. Not in whether you can turn it off or turn it on, but where's your power in how you use what you've been given. People go into brainstorming sessions. Man, there's got to be a better word, better way to say that. And I'm sure Delight will tell me what it is. You know, we call it brainstorming. What are you doing? What are you storming your brain with? Or what are you running through your brain? You're what are you doing when you brainstorm? You're having a particular idea and you've pointed yourself in that idea to explore how many sides of that idea that you can see. Brainstorming. But what did you do? You shut everything else out and did what? Focused on one singular thing. Watch yourself and you will see and observe what you are capable of doing. Then you don't have to pick up the phone and go, girl, can you really turn your mind off? My grandmother always used to ask, can you turn your mouth off? But you know how it is, right? Not then, not now, but it's all good. We'll work it out. I can slow it down a little bit, but it has a mind of its own. I digress. Begin to observe yourself. Notice what you're doing. Notice your mood. Why is that important? Because the mood will tell you what kind of thoughts you're going to have. Mm. The mood is going to tell you what kind of thoughts you're going to have. And the kind of thoughts that you have will determine the kind of words that you speak. And the kind of words that you speak will dictate the kind of actions that you do. But that all happens naturally. But we don't watch it. We don't watch ourselves. I say, we don't watch ourselves sometimes because we are afraid of what we might discover. Somebody, I forget who the scientist or whoever he was, he said that man is inherently evil. Why is man inherently evil? Because that's his opinion. Sure, you look around the world and you could say man is inherently evil because look at what's happening. But is there not good as well? So man cannot be inherently evil. Inherently evil means you ain't never gonna do good anywhere. And that's not the case because there is good in the world. So if you look around you and observe, is there goodness? Is there kindness? Not as much as we would like, but is there some? Well, then you can't be inherently evil. You cannot just be evil because then there would be no good. So then you will answer the question for yourself instead of, well, maybe man is evil. No, man is not evil. Man is acting according to the mood that he is in. So then I say to you, you don't just shut off your brain and how you think. Some call it critical thinking. But what do you mean by critical thinking? Because every time you hear the word critical, somebody's in the hospital, right? Critical, it never means good. So try and, okay, practice using the principles. And you'll begin to solve these questions in your life. So when you say, I got all this trauma to unpack. And we spend so much time trying to figure out what hurt us, right? And we try so many times we spend so much time trying to figure out why we're sicked up, why we're messed up. Because we want to figure it out. But the question is, do you see a problem? The problem is, I don't like this behavior, man. I think this is a little extreme. I don't like how I do this. And this is a real thing that's happening in the world. We've all gone through something and it has impacted our lives right now, and we're living it out. So when you begin to see and observe what you are living out, why do I always argue all the time? Why do I always do this all the time? Observe the self. And if you observe yourself, you will see exactly why you do it. You will see and recognize the quote unquote, because we like words, right? Trigger. When you see the trigger, did you not just learn about yourself? How are you going to learn that about yourself if you say, oh, I shut my brain off. I don't want to. It's my trauma response. No. Don't live by way of your quote unquote trauma response. Examine the trauma response and you will see how to get through it. Observe it, not because you got problems. That's not why you observe yourself. You observe yourself so you can comprehend why you're doing it. You don't have to dig it up to figure out why. Watch it, and you'll see why. And when you see it, now you are in a very unique position to say, wait, whoa, whoa. Now, I always fly off the handle, but whoa, wait a minute. I could feel myself ready to fly off the handle and choke a bit. I could feel it. And when you catch yourself feeling it, you've just diffused it and you say, wait, but you know why I wanted to choke her? Oh, I felt dot, dot, dot. Why? Because you didn't turn your brain off. How so? You didn't pretend you didn't have a problem. You didn't pretend that you didn't hurt. Don't pretend because you're afraid. Look at the problem. Because it's only a problem, right? It's a puzzle. And they're fun when you solve them. Because you're not, I don't want you to think that you're psychoanalyzing yourself. You're not doing that. This is the part that is so intriguing about the grace of God that we don't see and that we take for granted. We have the ability to observe ourselves. All you got to do is breathe a little and you'll see it. You'll feel it. Because it's going to happen naturally. And because it's been happening so naturally, you get pulled in and you think that's just the way you are. No, it's just the way you respond. And when you do that, trust me, I, I'm not telling you things that I don't get up and have to do every day. See, I watch it. My son and I had this big argument yesterday. And he's like, well, when you find out what's wrong with me, you can fix it, mother. And I was like, oh, ooh. And he's like, I had a hard life. And I was like, ah, shit. Yeah. He's been through some things. He has. And I was listening to him and I got mad. I got mad because he hurt my feelings. He says, mother, I think I might respect my friends more than I do you. And that hurt me. It cut me like a, ooh. Whew, it hurt me, man. But then I had to understand what was happening. He's only 15. He has no idea how to express what he has experienced. Because remember, I was watching him from the outside experience it. We were both experiencing it together. So I had to recognize this funny line I said to him. He goes, oh, mother, I don't have any self-esteem. And he goes, if I don't have any, you shouldn't have any. I said, bitch, we can't both be in the house without self-esteem because that would not be good for anybody. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you. You got to observe what is happening. And I could feel his hurt. And I said, well, get diggity. How am I supposed to deal with this? And I just cooked. And I let things just run through my mind to solve this issue because I knew what was happening. I knew hurt when I saw it. I understood the hurt. I said, all right, I can understand the hurt. So it was easier for me to say, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. Because I said things too. So when you're looking at the problem and how you want to fix it, observe it. And when you see what it is, the solution is there. Oh, it's going to take some time. But you know, the ace in the pocket is the principles. They ask you, who do you say you are? I am. What are you? And then you begin to see the child as you want to see them. How do I want to see my son? Without raw hurt. I want to see him happy and whole. I want to see him go through life understanding himself. And when I see that in my mind's eye, it brings me peace. And then it gives me ideas. And did you know, by the time it was time for bed, it was like, he said, I love you, Mom. Good night. And I was like, oh, he's talking to me now. Oh, snap. You just, what I'm saying to you is this. If you try to turn your brain or your mind off, you're going to miss out on a lot of things. And comprehension or understanding is the way to go. Why is it the way to go? Because when you understand where someone is coming from, I have no idea what it feels like to have pure, raw testosterone fire through my body. I have no idea what that feels like. I'm a girl. And here he is, jacked up on testosterone. I gotta come with a different kind of understanding. Right? So Lil Bit plays his role. Because he softens right up when he's with Lil Bit. The way he talks to him, the way he kisses him, rubs his feathers. That's what happens when you bring tenderness into the presence of testosterone. This is why men are more gentle with small babies, with their small babies. It lowers their testosterone. You lower the testosterone a little bit. Clarity. So this is why I say, when you meditate, meditation happens everywhere because it is a natural state. We naturally want to focus on one thing. But we have the ability to pull ourselves in many other directions. Why did I tell you all that today? Because you have it in you to do it. There's no need to be afraid of yourself. There's no need to be ashamed of yourself. None of us have a manual that tells us. I know people would say the Bible, right? The principles, right? But look at how we were taught these things. But if we would take a moment, just a wee bit of a moment, without guilt, without shame, and truly examine ourselves when something arises. Now that's putting our brains and our minds and our consciousness to good use. Because then you can see what's happening in your life and you, pardon me, and you could say, wow, I was really on one. And then you catch yourself and you say, but wait, what do I want to be? What do I want to be? This child has learned the word socially awkward or socially anxious or social anxiety. He's learned that word from somewhere. He didn't hear it from me. He's like, Mom, how do I get over it? He's like, well, I'm not sure I want to get over it. And I was like, but that's the first step. Self-observation. So you see where you put your mind? You put your mind on what it is you want to accomplish. And you'll start to do it naturally. You don't have to force it. So don't try and turn it off because the memory hurts. Diffuse the pain from the memory. How? By seeing what it was. Yeah? A little heavy this morning? Well, let's lighten it up a little bit. Let's say hello to everybody. A little bit is asleep. I kissed him this morning before I came downstairs. He was just his little noises. Oh, he is so cute when he purrs. Anyway, hey Yoda Green. I see you here in these tumbleweed streets of Twitter. It is good to see you. Oh, look. Well, I'm streaming somewhere else today. Just a different platform that I'm streaming through. And I quite like it. Hey, Cyber. Well, yeah, right? They're in that age, you know what I mean? They're in that age and they're learning and they have such angst and they just want to be understood. They just want to be heard, you know? And they're trying to tell you, listen, something hurt me and here's what it did. And we look at it as adults, we go, it wasn't that bad. Oh yeah. See? Don't invalidate them because they're the ones sitting there thinking about it, right? Let them tell you. That's why I say comprehension. But anywho, I see you. Hey, Saps. Saps says, good afternoon, everybody. Because it's afternoon where Saps is. It's morning for us. Wisdom Almighty, hey. And you see my comments come up on the screen. Ow. I love it. Let's see who's here on Fanbase this morning. Lead with Logic is in the house. Happy is in the house. Hey, honey. Sugar, honey, honey. Got your song, baby. Miss McQueen, Commander, I see you. Big Mike is in the house. Oh, I love you all. Maker Space. I like that, Delight. I like that. Yamila was here. Yeah, it is. You know what? Exactly. Exactly, lead with logic. You can't turn it off. You can turn it down. You could turn it up, but it is there. And one of the major reasons I tell people is use the principle of correspondence. If we shut the brain down here physically, what happens? Yeah. Well, then it's not meant to be turned off, is it? No. Well, then your consciousness, your awareness of yourself is not meant to be turned off either because it cannot be. Why? Because then you'll stop saying I am. And we can't stop saying I am because we are. Anyway, it's symmetric. Hello, spiritual treasures. I see you. Listen, I don't want to keep you long because, you know, work, 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 work. You know how it is, yeah? But I want you to know that whatever you have been through in your life, there is nothing to be ashamed of. No, there's nothing to feel guilty about either, because those things just cloud you and keep you stuck where you are. How are you going to change if you keep judging yourself to say, oh my God, why did I let this happen to me? Why did it happen to me? Stop. It happened. And I can't even say unfortunately. The neurological pathway has been set down so that memory is always going to be with you, unless, of course, you get Alzheimer's. You don't want that. You don't want to forget what you are. Heavens no, I want to know what I am. Right? So don't be ashamed of what happened to you and don't feel guilty about it. Understand that it happened, but it is no reflection on who and what you are and what you can become. It is just something you went through. You know, like our parents may tell us, I had to walk through 20 feet of snow for 30 miles uphill just to get to school. And now you got school on your computer. They're just telling you something they experienced. It's just an experience. Right? Trust me, I know. I've had my own experiences. And the memory of them is there. But the memory is not there to break you. The memory is there because neurologically it is. It is what it is. Right? But know that there is grace. What is the grace? The grace is, wait a minute, that happened to me. But what do I want to do now? And that is where you focus the mind upon, because now the mood of change will come upon you. The mood of change, the mood of, I want to be something. I want to be somebody. I want to do something great with my life. In spite of people's opinions. See, that mood will overtake you. And then you know what happens? Oh, your thoughts and ideas will flow along that line. Your words will flow out of you along that line of your mood. And then you know what happens? Your actions will lead you along the pathway that your mood has just opened up for you. So you see, you don't have to force your way. That's why this saying, where there is a will, there is a way. A will for what? What is a will? A decision to change. You just got to decide. Angela, if it was that easy, so many people wouldn't be struggling with the same thing. Who keeps saying that? If it was so easy, everybody'd be doing it. You concerned with everybody, you're just concerned with you. Because if you do it, everybody else will do it. Somebody just has to start. Wait, what? Yes, you just have to start. Why? Because they will know you by your fruit. Your fruit of change, when you decide, wait a minute, I'm gonna be dot, dot, dot. I am dot, dot, dot. Do you think that's hidden from the rest of the world? Well, answer this question. If you meet a jerk, is he hidden from the world? Nah, he's a jerk and everybody can see it. It goes the exact same way for those of us who are making these changes in our lives, aka putting in the work. You better work it out, right? But not work as in hard and back-breaking, digging ditches kind of work. That's not what it is. The work is get your mind on your success. Keep your mind on your success. So that's the work. Every time the mind says, oh, look, squirrel, you say success. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And you feel it. And that's where you work. That's where you put the work. Why do you put the work there? Because neurologically, you're setting down a pathway that will now become a habit for you. Hmm. This is why all the greats can tell you success is a habit. What? You get up and you do the same thing the same way every time. What is that the definition of a habit? So you see, you can do it. You can do it. So just get up. Remember, there's that scene in Sister Act where she goes, get up off of that thing. Dance to you, feel better, right? James Brown. And she would throw off the cape. Yeah, the cape. That's your problems. Throw it off you and go, get up off of that thing. Yeah, that's what you do. And who cares what somebody's opinion of you is? Are they the ones sleeping with your problems? No, you are. So what does it matter about what they think? Oh my God, she's over there acting all crazy. And in the meantime, they want to be as free spirited as you to get past what they're going through. Oh, but they can only speak to you from hurt because they're hurting. But that's all right. Show them how it's done. Don't beat them with teachings. Show them how it is done. Get up and do it. Or as they say, do you, boo boo? Do you, eh? Anyway, let me get this bowl. No, we're not getting a bowl. Oh, it is time for you to chime in. Ow. I cracked me up because I got that chime. You know I have the morning chime. Let me get it from hanging on the door. That is so soothing to me. I trust that it was soothing to you as well. Spiritual treasures. Look, I'm going to presume, but you'll have to correct me. Tell me, because I want to say he or she, but spiritual treasures said, I just love you. I sure needed this. Listen, I needed it too. I needed the reminder because sometimes we just get so caught up with living that we don't stop to smell the roses anymore because we're so busy with Caesar, you know. We're so busy with Caesar. But you gotta let Caesar drift to the background. Yeah? Caesar will always get his. But you gotta let him drift to the background of your life instead of being at the forefront. Right? So, anywho, I love you all. Yes, there you go. Sometimes you can tell spiritual treasures. Sometimes by stage names, you can tell who's a girl and who's a boy. Sometimes you can tell. And I just didn't want to be presumptuous. Um, but yes, I know you're a girl. um, yeah. So let's get out there today and know it in your heart. You'll come to know it if you don't, because every man awakens in their own time. But you'll come to know it. You will come to know it. Yes? Mm. You know I love you. I don't remember what lecture is tonight. I don't. But I know there's one. I got to set it up because I'm using a new streaming platform. Yes, I am. My bestie said something to me yesterday. She says, you're just scared of learning a new platform, but this is time for you to learn something new. It's okay to be scared. And I was like, well, damn. And she's right, 100%. Because I was so used to the other platform. And I was like, oh, man. But then they want to charge me an arm, a leg, and a dog. And I was like, something just isn't right about this. Right? I'm using Restream. So I'm working my way learning how to use it, but so far it seems nice and easy to use. And so I like it. So I have to set up the other stuff in there now, the other lectures and the other morning inspirations. I have to set them up in there. But that's what I'm using, Restream. So I like it. Anywho, I love you. And I'll see you tonight, right? 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you want to fall asleep with us. You don't have to, because I know that's early for some people, but I do it. Anywho, I love you. Peace. It's symmetric. And Yoda Green. Oh, look, there's a stirring upstairs. One boy is awake. It's the big boy. And that little rooster, he's still in the dark. So I got to go get him. Sure. Do you want me to make you some breakfast? I have 10 minutes. Do you want me to make you breakfast? Okay. All right, y'all. Peace out. Twitter is closed. YouTube and Facebook, loving you. Oh, there he is. Oh, he just told me he was awake. He says, Mama, don't you forget about me. Yes, spiritual treasures. Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I read a Neville Goddard lecture, and woo, you got to check out the one. If you're on Spotify, too, I have it up there. Check out oh my God, I forget which one it was. Not last night's, but the one before. Ooh, girl. Mm. Oh yeah, it was lit. So I got to upload this one to Spotify, too. So I'm going to catch y'all later, fan base. I'm coming. Hold on.